We're back. Sit Your Podcast Down, Season 2, Episode...
I think 6 now.
6?
I think it's 6 now. You get to like that now.
I'm here. Big Fly is here. G is here.
Hello, good people. Hello, America. Well, I mean, y'all want to start with Floyd? Because I feel like...
Yeah, we jump right into
it. Man, Floyd is interesting. You know what? First and foremost, I want to say, this is hard to say, I think, because of the way he is, but we really need to give him his flowers. Because Floyd is, and I know, I'm almost sure Reek's going to kill me for this, Floyd is one of the greatest fighters of all time.
He is.
He's one of the greatest fighters of all time. And I feel like because people don't like him, they don't want to give him that. But he is 100% one of the greatest fighters of all time. He deserves his flowers. Is he the greatest fighter of all time? I don't know. I will say he's no worse than top 5. No worse than top 5. Whether you like the way he fights or not isn't really the point. But he has some interesting thoughts. And he's fighting Logan Paul, which is just weird. Is it Jake Paul? Who the fuck is it? Is it Jake Paul? I forget.
I think it's Logan. It's the one that's not as good.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's the one that's not as good, right? It's not the one that's decent. It's the one that's bad, right? Well, I don't know if he's decent. He's beat up on the competition. I don't think he's beat up. He can beat up on Nate Robinson. Like, I don't know if he's good. I just know Nate Robinson.
Yeah, he ain't the one that knocked out Nate and knocked out the MMA fighter. He's the other. I think he's the one that lost to the other YouTuber that he fought. Like, I think that's this whole thing came about because I know Logan Paul and some other YouTuber, I think he's from England, a black dude. They boxed, and the whole thing did like crazy.
KSI is a YouTuber.
KSI, yep, that's him.
Okay.
The thing did crazy numbers. So anybody making money, it's like, okay, we gotta keep this. That's the wave now as far as promoting yourself. Like there's your social media presence, your YouTube presence.
That's everything now.
Right. So I think one thing that can kind of help this thing, like with Floyd fighting Logan Paul, if Floyd gets some boxers on that undercard, you can probably get more fans to watch those people when they fight, real guys.
Yeah, because they know Logan Paul and Jake Paul. Unfortunately, they don't know great boxers. Unfortunately, this is what it is. They got the presence.
So if you have somebody up and coming that, you want your fighters, like Floyd saying, he's on the interview saying he got 200 fighters. I don't know about that. But
Floyd always got,
Al Heyman has that many. I don't know about Floyd. But, put some of those fighters on your undercard because people are going to watch. Because I know Jake Paul did what, like 75 million?
You got some people. I'll watch this shit. We all watch it. Like, people watch it.
Like, so it's like, you gotta. I see what Floyd is doing, even though, it's easy money for him. But I'm not going to sit there and be naive and think, like, oh, I don't need the money. I'm just doing it, just be doing it. Like you wouldn't be doing it like that. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't.
I mean, doesn't that part you think just, man? All right, Floyd just wants more money. Doesn't the part of you just think he just wants more? Not that he needs it. He just wants it.
See, if I didn't know people on the money team, I would say that's more of a possibility. But being that
you know people on the money team,
yeah, I know people on the money
connections.
Team. And from what I was told about his spending habits, I can see why he would need another big payday.
I mean, he was on the interview. They asked him, said, "How much that watch, man?" He said, "Oh, this 18 million." Like, all right, like,
yeah, like,
cool.
Like, but the whole thing is like, why would you buy that? And then on top of that, it's like his big issue, I think, is just like so many people he was supporting, like a lot of his money, because like he got people that don't have to pay for nothing, like that's outside of his immediate family. Like if he's like his mother, his father, his kids, I can understand they don't have to pay for nothing, work for nothing, but everybody else shouldn't be like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, at least give them a job. They have like an actual responsibility that they have to provide some kind of service. Like,
yeah, like I mean, I know stories. Like I won't put out the stuff on air, but I heard some stories about people complaining about the money they get and from them and all that stuff. Like people worrying about who's getting paid more than the other person because it'll give them like jobs, but it's not like a job.
Your job is to get the mail every day. All
yeah,
right.
like you seen him train, like the dude that be wearing that he punches in the stomach all the time with the big pads.
Yeah.
Like he pays him a lot of money, but that's all he really does. You know what I mean? And
take punches to the stomach. He take punches to the
stomach. He pays him a good salary to punch him in the stomach. Like,
I need that life. What do you sign up for that? I'll put that on resume. Willing to take punches to the gut for good salary. Oh man. So let me ask. Okay. So you think he's fighting Logan Paul because he need the money? All right. That's I'll kind of potentially. And anybody that spends like that probably needs to keep bringing in money. I mean, it is what it is.
But wouldn't you like this? The amount of money that you can make from this, like, would you turn that down anyway?
That's what I'm saying. If the report is, well, like he kind of threw it out like maybe close to like 100 mil. If you're getting 100 mil to beat up on some YouTuber, like that's like, yo, so Reed, they say, yo, Reed, man, come play this exhibition basketball game 1-on-1, you versus, a 8-year-old, all right? Like you ain't gonna lose, you're not gonna get hurt, and we gonna give you 100 mil. Right now, obviously, it's a bit more than that for him, but let's just say he looks at it like, oh, this is easy money. Like, literally, candy from a baby type money.
Yeah, like he would do it. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's anything wrong with that, but I'm not going to think that he couldn't use that payday either. It ain't like he just doing it just to be doing it because, like, oh, this is an extra 100 million. This is free 100 million. Like,
I hope, man. I do hope he doesn't go broke, man.
Like seriously. Last year or the year before that, he fought in some exhibition in China, I think, and that wasn't for no crazy money. So it's like, why would you do that if you ain't needed? You know what I mean?
That's intriguing. If you're doing it for big paydays, I get, but
I'm not gonna say this is the case, but I'd almost think that could be something aligned with like his promotion for his
marketing.
Company, where it's like, where it's like, okay, I'll do this business deal with y'all. And they say, okay, well, do this fight as a part of it, and this is gonna kick off like a promotion or something going on over here.
Yeah,
theory, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, I think if he's smart, and that's what I was saying, if he was smart, he can use it to help elevate the stuff he wants to promote and the stuff that can help him make more money. Like, that's why I was saying he should put some of his guys on the undercard, have them go up against some bums. There's some exciting knockouts. So now people that's watching that don't normally watch boxing will know who they are and they would follow. That's kind of like how Tank became a big superstar. Well, on his way to being a superstar, because Tank has like a huge social media presence.
He does.
You know what I mean? Like Tank fights. I mean, not fights, but Tank. For one, Tank has exciting fights. That's one. But two, he also like who he's dating. He goes viral for the wrong reasons.
People don't care to see that, man. They want to see names that they know get beat up or beat up other people.
I think they kind of want a little bit of both. A little bit of both. A little bit of both.
Like Adrian Broner can sell a fight. He does.
He don't get knocked out in it, but he gonna go see it.
You know what I mean, right? But then his fights aren't entertaining. Everybody watches his fights mainly for the post-fight interview, and they watch it for the face-offs,
all the lead up to it.
Right,
because he gonna talk greasy. He gonna talk greasy the whole time.
Right. That's how Broner's still relevant, even though he hasn't really won a fight, and I don't know how long. He won his last fight, but everybody was like, yeah, you ain't really win that fight. You got gifted that fight. But
I mean, I hope, for Floyd's sake, I hope he don't need the money. I hope he's not going to be one of these guys that goes broke after making almost not $1 billion, but he's made hundreds of millions of dollars. There's no reason.
He's made close to $1 billion.
There's no reason he should be broke ever. Ever. This doesn't make no sense. So I hope it's not that. But and obviously, I think he's gonna beat Logan. We're not even gonna give predictions. He's gonna win that fight. Like if he don't win that fight, if he don't win that fight, he got hit with a crowbar in it.
Even at
like ain't 40, no way.
44, however old he is, there's no way. He's
he's not gonna lose that fight. But he did say something in the interview with your boys, Gilly and crew. What now? Now, Rick, I want to know what you think about this. He said he's the greatest. Not only is he the greatest fighter, he cannot be caught. As in, there's no one who can come after him that will be as great as he was. He was saying, I guess he gave a couple of reasons why. Basically, boiled down to the guys that have a lot more fights than me. He was like, how many other champions did they beat? Like, who was their competition? And he just talked about, like, obviously being undefeated, the kind of just he's beaten everybody there was to beat, and he's never taken a loss, right? That's always kind of his thing. Now, number one, can you ever make a claim like that in sport, period? Number two, how do you feel about that? And if you don't have him as the greatest, who is the greatest in your mind?
Before Reek go, because I know Reek is going to give a very much more educated answer, and I'm just going to troll. No, I don't consider him the greatest. I'm gonna just stick with, the corny answer. I'm gonna say Muhammad Ali, if not him, probably somebody like Tyson for me. But I'm gonna go with Muhammad because everything he stood for inside and outside of the ring, and I feel like he kind of like when you think about boxing, you're gonna mention his name. I don't know if you're necessarily going to mention Floyd. You might, but you're going to mention his name. And he's a heavyweight.
Heavyweight bias. But I always wonder this. Should the fact that he was such a great leader as far as for the culture, should that matter? If we're talking about fight.
I guess it depends.
I would
tell Floyd to get his weight up.
You want him to be double his size? You can go
get his weight up, man.
That man like 130, 140?
There's heavyweights out here.
I guess in terms of like ultimate fighter, if you look at it like from that perspective, you got to give him like the AI, the pound for pound, because he can't beat everybody. And that's kind of the idea. You think of like the greatest fighter. I think it's like the idea of like put him up against anybody, he gonna give him work. So you got to go with bigger guys, and then it's like who was the most versatile of the bigger guys. You probably look at Ali, right? I get that part of it, but I don't know, man. Anyway, well, give your answer. I say Ali probably as well.
You gotta go like Ali, Ray Robinson.
I'm about to say he don't get enough love at all.
Yeah, like most people, like those are like your 1 and 2. You know what I mean? That's for most people is Sugar Ray Robinson, Ali, and then depending on who you ask, they might put Sugar Ray Robinson first, then Ali. Floyd, Floyd put up there. Like my personal favorites 5 would be Ali, Robinson, Hagler, Duran, Floyd. Then you think of people like Sweet Pea.
What about Joe Louis?
Joe Louis can be up there. It's a lot of great fighters. It's a lot of great all-time fighters. Sugar Ray Leonard. Like you could put like those guys on the list. Floyd has a resume, but at the same time, like a lot of reasons why people don't put him above a lot of those guys is because they know that some of the guys he fought like aren't on, even though they're world champions, they weren't on the level of something like the big 4 in the 80s. It was like Duran and Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Tommy Hearns, like all fighting each other. You know what I mean? Like those are like all top 5, top 10 fighters of all time. Same with Ali. Like when you see Ali, people put him at the top because he was the best in probably the greatest era of heavyweight boxing of all time.
There's a lot of great heavyweights.
Because you look at, like it was crazy. Foreman, Frazier, Ken Norton. You know what I mean? Like all those type of guys, and he was beating those guys. Shavers, all those
even when he beat Listen, people didn't realize Listen was good. Like people just he just gets remembered as a guy that got his ass beat by Ali, but he was really good. Like he was murdering boys.
Like people were scared of him.
He was terrified of that dude. Like, he came in and beat him. Like
it was like 2 fights, and people knew their history. It was like 2 fights where people thought Ali was gonna die. It was Liston and Foreman.
Dude, seriously.
Like if you fight it, like you're gonna die. And it's like, no. Like he won.
Oh,
so
man.
But, you know, I mess with Floyd. Like if Floyd's in people top 5, I ain't mad at it. I wouldn't say he's the greatest ever though. I honestly think like when people say like, oh, he would beat Sugar Ray Leonard, it's like Floyd wouldn't have fought them dudes. Like Floyd.
Oh, stop! Don't do that.
No, seriously, because Floyd natural weight is like 135, 130, 135, 140.
That big guy.
Yeah, so he would have fought guys like Aaron Pryor, Alexis Arguello. He might have fought Duran on the come up, but like Hagler, Hearns, Sugar Ray, like they were too big for him. Like he wouldn't have fought them. He would have stayed down where he was at.
So you think the same thing? Like partly his weight makes it a harder argument to call him the greatest because he just didn't fight bigger guys?
I don't think so, because I mean you look at all the weight classes he went to, because he's naturally small guy and he went up and he won championship at 154, started at 130. So he went through all the weight classes and won and beat champions on each level. So I mean that makes a great argument. But at the same time, it's just like I know like if he was fighting in the 80s, he wouldn't have fought those guys. He probably would have stayed. Let me stay in that 130, 140 range. I'm not going 147, 154, 160 in that range.
I mean, you never know. You know, I think it's interesting though, like his claim that you can't. He may make a point though. There may not be a fighter in as long as boxing to me is so weird how it's organized. He may be right in the sense that there may not be someone that comes after him that you look at in the same light. Because everybody's going to be able to just duck. You got to go back to giving it to him. If everyone's going to duck and kind of pick and choose their fights like they do now.
Right. And that's the thing. Like they blame him for a lot of that, but they don't realize like he didn't duck anybody on the come up. So once he became top dog, that's when it's like, okay, I can pick and choose who I fight. You know what I mean? I'm fighting the person with the biggest money, world champion. I'll make the biggest payday off this person. I think he calls himself the greatest based on the totality of everything, how much money he made.
But I mean, that's another question. Should the money be a part of it? If you're getting the biggest draws, pause. If you're making the most money from fighting, doesn't that come down to like it does that have something to say about how great you are as a fighter? If you can capture that, because that's the thing I think about Ali. In terms of why I think he was the greatest. Obviously, he fought great. He fought other Hall of Fame, legendary boxers, of course. There was obviously the social aspect, of course, right? It was the personality that he had, right? But to me, that's kind of where you capture the audience, right? What part of that is a part of what it is, like to be able to get people excited in this sport, get people excited to come see you fight, and be able to then garner that kind of response because millions of people want to watch you fight. Like, should that be considered? If you talk about considering Ali's social contributions, should we consider that Floyd made the most money and probably will be the highest earner when it's all said and done?
The thing is, like, I don't know if the money equals to how the social element raised Ali up. Because I think, and it ain't Floyd fought because Ali just fought in a time when all that stuff was going on.
Yeah, he did.
So, you know what I mean?
Think Floyd would have like you?
See, now we get into it. We get into it. He said,
"Come on, man. The man supposedly couldn't even read, man.
I mean, he could advocate for the schools. Look at how I couldn't read.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of fighters that can't read.
No, man. I think you reaching. I think you're reaching on this one. I'm gonna let it go, but I think you're reaching.
I mean, no, the era being a symptom of the era is one thing. I think but here's the thing. Here's what thing to think about too. I don't think Floyd exists the way he is if he comes out of the 60s. Like, that's one reason why I think Floyd is a triumph for black folk. because that kind of energy didn't exist early on. Because the environment wasn't there for it. To me, there's a lot more modesty because there had to be because you were just trying to make it to tomorrow. I feel like he's a triumph of like, all right, I came from maybe circumstances that weren't great. I made it great. Now I can have this kind of confidence and this kind of just larger than life personality because I'm Floyd Mayweather. Like I think him in the 60s, he's probably not the same guy. He's not walking around with 30 million in jewelry on a given day for an interview. He's just not. I just don't think you're going to see that. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he would be the same guy in every era, but I think the era dictates some of who you are.
We don't got to spend too much longer on this, but like Rick, definitely, I'm looking to you for an answer here. So like boxing is entertainment. To the average person, Floyd Mayweather may not be as entertaining as some of the other greats because it's my understanding that he's a very technical boxer. He's boxing the right way. He's boxing for points. He's boxing defensively. He has offense, but he's technically boxing, let's say, the way to maximize points, right? Do you factor that into any of your GOAT conversations, given that it is entertainment and, you know, there's an aspect to it that is, I guess, yeah.
I think that plays a factor too, because when you look at Floyd, it's like who has he actually been in a war with? You know what I mean? And you know, credit to his skill, but it's like, who has he fought that just really didn't care about none of that? And we just gonna, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, he hasn't had any fights like Hagler Hearns or Duran and Sugar Ray won, like, or, you know, Ali Frazier. Like, he doesn't have a rival that helps boost his status up. Like, who did you go toe to toe with?
Pacquiao.
I'm usually the one trolling. You wildin'.
But even the Pacquiao fight, like, it wasn't Floyd's fault that Pacquiao didn't do what he was supposed to do, because Floyd was countering all that stuff. But, you know, he hasn't been in really that many wars with anybody. Like, you haven't seen him really be hurt only but a couple times.
I don't think that's fair. He beat who was in front of him.
Yeah, but
it's the old like thing about, well, who did Jordan beat? He beat who was in front of him, and obviously that's not apples to apples. I get, but you gotta beat who's in front of you, and he did every single time.
No, I'm not taking that away from him. Just saying, like, when you look at the style of fighting, people gonna factor that in. Like, he's not offensive. Coming up, when he was fighting the lighter weights, he was more offensive minded. He was more exciting to watch. But then as he started fighting bigger men, he became way more defensive. So it was like, now I'm pot shot. I'm throwing one shot at a time instead of combinations like he was doing when he was fighting smaller guys.
Man, all right, I'm gonna just say it. Floyd the greatest. I'm taking he is the greatest. Man, never lost. Greatest fighter of all time. That's hard to say. It's hard to even believe that.
I got heavyweight bias.
I think there is a heavyweight bias. But again, like, is that fair? I just don't know if that's fair. Oh, because you're not.
It is to me.
You're the worst. Yeah, the worst.
It's like, the thing is with heavyweights, anybody can get knocked out at any time because they're so big and they got power. Pause. So, you know.
Hey, put some weight on. You see how many people try to move up, realize they can't hang, go back down.
Right.
Well,
like, ain't too many people taking a George Foreman punch.
I'm not saying, and you know, I'm ignorant about boxing, so do not hold me to anything I'm saying. I just look at everything else as JV.
I'm done. Well, I mean, okay. Anyways, so beyond that, I mean, talking about guys who maybe shouldn't be in the ring, on this same card, Ocho Cinco stepped into the ring. Now, we wanna support the culture. We want to support our black men. I don't know if he's gonna get knocked out. I'm going to assume he's getting knocked out. I hate to say it. You know what? Yeah, he's gonna get knocked out. But do we know who he's fighting yet though? But what do y'all feel about that? Ocho Cinco, the former Cincinnati Bengal and other teams I'm sure you played on, is coming to boxing. Good move, bad move. I don't know. I say bad move, but I'm biased.
I think it's a bad move. Like, come on, Chad. Like, is he fighting like for real? Does he have like a real opponent?
Yes, he has no opponent right now. It's to be announced. And that to me is why it's even worse. Because you should be training now on what you're gonna do. You ain't know he gonna fight. He gonna come in there and knock you out.
And it's like a month away, dude. Like he got like a month. So it's like you're gonna get demolished. Well, depending, like not unless they throw in somebody like some former.
Man, he got to fight T.O.
Yo, I'm here for that.
Or matter of fact, he got to fight Brandon Marshall.
Yeah, Brandon Marshall box. Brandon Marshall wanted to fight Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
That man,
he got to fight his peers.
That man need to be stopped.
Yeah, like no way Wilder would fight him. Wilder would hit Brandon Marshall, make his dreads pop up. He look like Blanca when he get electrocuted after he get hit with that right.
I don't. Now with Ocho, I wonder if it's money. I wonder if it's money when it comes to Ocho Cinco. I wonder about him and the bread. But like, I don't know why guys are doing it. Why, of all the things you could do with your post-football career that are safer, you want to go box? I don't get it. I don't understand. I know it's an exhibition, but still, yo. Still, why are you gonna go buy? And who are you just? Have you been training for this?
What is it about athletes that come from other sports that think they can just step into the ring and box?
And that's the crazy thing to me, because Nate thought that, and it's like, Nate, all right, look.
Nate did think that.
I could tell, like somebody just told you, how you could do stuff with the pads and all that stuff. But you didn't spar against nobody. You could tell like he never like he fought like a street fight, just came in just rushing in. Like boxing ain't that. So
yeah,
like
if they sleeping. I mean, Jake and Logan, they're not good fighters, but they're rich white kids with money and time.
Right, rich white kids, money, time. They actually train, actually spar. They actually been punched in the mouth. You know what I mean? Like it's totally different in the ring. If you just coming from somewhere. And you're not like in like basketball players, football players, like a lot of them, like football is totally different from boxing. Like it's different when you're in a fight. You know what I mean? And it's not a street fight either. So you got to be thinking when you're in there, not just trying to rush people.
That's what I'm saying. I think UFC, you have like not against a trained fighter. At least in UFC, some of that street shit you can do. You can maybe rush somebody, take them to the ground. Like there's things you can do that maybe are familiar, but when you have to just throw punches and be technically sound, because you can't just go punch dude in the knee. You know what I mean? Like you have to really punch like shake with waist up and like it's hard because you don't do that in a real fight. Real fight, you do whatever you gotta do. Like I don't understand like why these guys do it. I mean, maybe again, for him, it feels like it's the money. Get a little payday real quick, whatever. Which I mean, I'm not mad about, but I don't know. I want to see who he fights.
He just better not fighting a white dude because I can't take another L like that.
You just heard when Nate fell, you heard the ancestors just cry out like, "What happened?" You just heard everybody. You just heard an old Negro spirit just start playing. Like I just like, oh my goodness, no. Honestly, the only thing I can hope is that he saw Nate lean back and he understands. All right, I better come in here ready to fight, or I'm going to get knocked out.
Is he associated with the money team? Like what? Where does he even? This is random. Like what do we know about? Like why?
I have honestly no idea. I mean, like to me, it feels like he couldn't be because at least trying to set my man's up with like an easy opponent. He doesn't even know who his opponent is. That's a recipe for disaster to me. I can't imagine my Mayweather out here just doing boys dirty like that. I can't imagine it. Maybe. maybe, but that just seems weird.
But I'm definitely all for these entertainers and these athletes settling their differences in the ring for sure, though.
Yeah, I'm down for it too.
100% for it.
That's what it should be. That's what it should be. I got one for y'all. I want to see Stephen A. and Skip Bayless. I want to see them just throw punches. I think that I want to see pundits. I want to see political pundits throw punches. I want to see all of that. No more talking trash over the airwaves. Just get in the ring. Let's get in the ring and settle it. Like, I remember a celebrity deathmatch. He used to have, yo, I think that's a great night. Like, obviously, it can't be deathmatch, but like, like that idea of like industry rivals fighting, love it, all for it.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down for that. You know, once I think more of it start happening once they start seeing how much money it brings in.
Oh, it's right. Definitely a money grab. If nothing else,
get Snoop to commentate. Easy,
right? Triller gonna blow up off of this.
Snoop was the MVP. Snoop was the MVP of that night. I swear, his commentary was perfect. He said, "Man, you got a block, dude." That was the best. Good old Snoop. Well, I guess we got we can hop to let's hop from Snoop for a minute. I thought we talk about LeBron on a regular basis on this show. It's not really on purpose. He's a very interesting guy with an interesting take on things. Have y'all seen this? I'm sure. G, have you seen this?
I don't. Y'all think I defend LeBron because I like him. I don't know what LeBron's been doing lately. What's up?
So, somebody has some receipts for LeBron. You know you don't like receipts, Mr. Narrative Controller. Back in when it wasn't an issue, he was a big fan of the play-in tournament, which honestly, by the way, I'll admit this, he's right. I hate the idea of a play-in tournament. If you 7 in the eighth seed and you may say you scratch and claw to get there, to just say, yo, you in the playoffs, but not really play against the guys that you've been beating all year again. And really, that to me is stupid. So I don't like that. But he was a big fan of it. He said, oh, the playoffs, because he was saying, because guys that maybe 8 or 9 been really scrapping and whatever. And I think he was thinking about it from the West perspective. When guys are like sometimes, a half game separated. And it's just like, oh, man, they were really, really close. Let's give these teams one more chance to solidify their playoff spot. Okay, whatever. So he was a big fan of it, apparently. This is somebody had like a quote from him or whatever saying he was good for it. Now that the Lakers are potentially a candidate for this play-in tournament, he said it's the worst idea ever. Whoever made that idea should be fired or something like that to the effect of that. Right? So,
what's the timeline? Did it really go down like that? I just want to be. I'm not denying it. I'm just asking. What's the timeline?
I'm not an investigative journalist, but it appears that the receipts are accurate. That he did in fact.
He did. They got like audio of him saying it. So I mean.
So there you go.
He was one of them people. Like I think Dallas was the same way. Cuban. They were all for the play-in tournament until they actually got to be in the tournament.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, how was the question framed? Is there any way that this can be misinterpreted?
I love it. How was it framed? Not really. From what I've seen, it was pretty much him just giving an honest opinion of liking it. And I think, to me, now I'll say this. I think at the time, he was giving like kind of like a shout out to the boys that's down there, like, yo, they work hard. Those are good teams, right? And maybe trying to give like a diplomatic answer. But then he obviously thought of it like, they ain't gonna be us ever. So there's this idea of like, we ain't gonna be down there. Y'all can do that shit and duke it out, but like I ain't with that shit.
Last question before I ask what he actually said. Could it be possible that it was bubble specific, his first response?
No, this is the play-in tournament was only really he talked about specifically after the bubble in regards to it being something carried over into this season. So it was specifically about the regular season, not the bubble. It was this year. So yes.
I mean, I'll be mad too. You can't say you wouldn't be mad too, though.
But no. Be mad, yes. But is it fair or foul to have both those takes in the same season when nothing's changed except now you in the playoff tournament?
Look, he's a human. People are going to they're gonna like, you know, he doesn't know. Obviously, if he knew he was going to be in there, he would have been like, hell no. Nah.
But
I don't blame him.
But this
I don't think this is anything that reflects on his personality or legacy. I feel like he's saying things most people probably just didn't want to say out loud.
No, I think it exactly reflects his legacy.
Yeah, I think I look at it this way. I probably would feel the same way if I was LeBron. Like, this is stupid.
Exactly.
Like, if I gotta play in the play-in turn. Like, this is stupid. But at the same time, you can't champion it. Like, you didn't mind the play-in tournament, and then it's like, now you in there, it's like, oh, this sucks. This is really dumb. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just saying, I agree with you. I'm like, if he was like that from jump, yeah. But I think it's funny because he never thought he'd be there. I got AD. We ain't gonna be down there. We had the same record as the Knicks. Let's talk about that. Same record as the Knicks. He niggas gonna be out there, these basement dwellers, and we not basement dwellers. At least not in our division, not in our conference.
Nope.
We're not
fourth, baby.
We're in fourth place, baby.
Like,
oh, that's funny.
Like
I don't see the problem.
I don't see the problem. But
I just think it's ironic and funny. I don't think it's a problem.
Right, yeah,
I think it's hilarious.
LeBron definitely contradicted himself. He's saying like, "Oh man, you know, I'm all for it. Like, this is great. Give those teams a chance to get in." Blah 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 blah. And then it's like, this is stupid. Somebody whoever did this be fired. It's like, you was all for it. Like,
I'm gonna tell you right now, if someone at the NBA gets fired, G, I don't want to hear about LeBron ain't got no fire. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what the reason is. If anyone gets fired in the next month, I'm gonna tell you it's because of LeBron. If someone gets fired,
better yet, if they stop the tournament for like they don't do a tournament again.
Right.
Why y'all don't never blame like Chris? Why don't you ever blame the other CPA guys, Chris Paul and all his best friends?
Oh,
like they don't actually have to pull. Like they probably the ones that got more pull.
But Chris Paul is smart. He don't say nothing. He be at State Farm with Jake.
He's not the face of the NBA. That's why
he's the face of State Farm. Exactly my point.
Right.
He's smart.
Yeah, there's not an NBA media mic in front of him every time he opens a book to the first page.
Because he's smart. He don't want that. He just gonna casually be on one of the best.
He can't have that. He's not that guy.
I don't know if he can have it if he wanted it.
He can't.
I don't know if he couldn't. I just think he chooses not to because he understands Chris Paul's a guy like that's the difference between Chris Paul and probably LeBron. Both manipulate, but Chris Paul knows it and he shuts up. LeBron's like, no, I'm not manipulating. Look over here while I do this other shit. No, LeBron, we see you. No, I'm not. You don't see me. Chris Paul's like, yeah, I do that shit, but I ain't gonna like be in front of y'all.
Chris Paul's also hasn't won anything, so
that's also true. So like, how much is he really manipulating? They rescinded that man trade. Remember that? He supposed to be in the Lakers? They were like, yeah, no. Get your ass back here. Yeah, he runs the league, G. Yeah, okay. He said, two teams independent of the league made a trade, and the league said, we don't like it.
Different commissioner.
Don't care. Don't care.
Different iron fist. And didn't the NBA like have control of the Hornets at that point?
The trade said no.
He's like, yeah, no.
But when AD was going to get traded, they were just like, oh, to Mr. LeBron James team? Done deal. I mean, right there, it tells you the difference in power. Right there, you see a difference in power. From the same team.
It proves nothing.
From your bum-ass team giving up star player after star player. Yeah.
Proves nothing.
Damn, Saints owner. Worrying about football. Bum-asses. Anyways.
I mean, whatever. He could flip-flop. He earned it. I don't care.
Yeah, like, you know, it's like, it's almost like, you know, like a dance that like you think is cool till you try it. And he's like, man, this is stupid. Like I can't do it.
That's all it is. It sounded good on paper until he realized he would have to do it.
Oh, I gotta be in this.
Oh, that's good for y'all niggas.
Right. He's like, yeah, it'd be nice, exciting. You know, because I don't mind the tournament because everybody gotta play hard, and it keeps. I think part of the reason why our Knicks are balling the way we are, Mike, because we don't, because we're fighting not to be in the tournament.
I think for a fact, it's just like, they're like, oh, being 7th and 8th is not cool no more? Okay,
Right.
well,
Nope.
we need to be 5 or better because we ain't doing this shit.
We're not doing no tournament.
Okay, all right, yeah, cool. Because that shit, nah, we ain't with that shit.
Yeah, we ain't doing no tournament.
I'm good on that, bro. Yeah, I'm so good on that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude.
What's the tournament? It's a what is it?
7 through 10?
Yeah, 7 through 10. They got like, I think they have like a week where they're all gonna play each other. I don't know the exact rules, but like the 10th team and the 9th team have a chance. If they beat those teams, I think twice, they can get into the playoffs.
This sounds like some like Delaware Park shit.
It's like it's
sounds like some like rec league
it's real NCAA-ish. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like the first round of the tournament, like they got that team playing on Wednesday or Thursday night before the real tournament,
right?
Just to see if they can get into the tournament. Like
those used to be the only games we could watch because they would be at the bum schools. They wouldn't get the big arenas.
Yeah. So I think it's like same thing.
So as it stands right now, the Lakers have a half game on the Mavs and then a full game on the Blazers. Mavs are 6th, Blazers are 7th. They got a full 4 games on the Warriors, so they shouldn't really be a concern there. Do you think? Now, here's the thing. I do not believe in 1, 2, or 3. I just don't. I don't. 1, 2, or 3 being the Jazz, the Suns, the Nuggets. I don't believe that when it comes down, again, even ancient ass old LeBron, I don't believe when it comes down to it, he's taking an L to them teams. I may be wrong. Again, I'm not a LeBron fan, as we've established, but I don't see Booker in an even older Chris Paul. I mean, Chris Paul in basketball has got to be like 75. What he's doing is amazing, by the way. Just thinking about it, he's that old. I don't believe in them, but is it time to start believing in them? Is LeBron starting to age out a little bit? I mean, I don't want to make that call too early, but I mean, 1 through 4, I mean, they're clearly on paper as of right now better teams. Is it time for panic in Lakerland?
Look, we went over this. Every other year, LeBron does this when he realizes shit's looking bleak.
Yep.
Every other year, all of a sudden, you know, we praise him for how much he doesn't get hurt. And every time shit looks like it's about to get real, he's magically hurt.
And it's not like one of those like light injuries. It's one of those, I'm going to be out for a few months. So he does the same thing. I call it like he does the same thing. So I also heard like if they determine he ain't gonna play in the plane. So
really,
so the thing is, I think his injury is legit because I hurt my ankle like that before. But instead of just sitting out, you know, he got to prove and try to be like some type of Iron Man and be like, I'm gonna play and try to get my numbers. Like, dude, like if you're gonna be out, be out. You know what I mean? Just like he tried that growing pull. Sat out, waited to see if they was going to get AD, which they didn't. Came back, playoff mode activated. It went like 8-13. Didn't make the playoffs.
Man, once he realized he wasn't getting MVP, he was hurt, man. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. Same thing. I mean, he has a track record for doing it. He has a track record for doing it.
So y'all say Lakers done. As far as like representing the West in the finals, like I mean, going
no way.
They're not going to be healthy. They're not going to be healthy.
No, they're going to be too hurt. Like, you know, like LeBron always did that stupid. So like, what was it like last week? The storm is coming. They lost like every game since he's been back. Every one of the games since he's been back. Storm is coming. Shut up. Like come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know how it is because, you know, there are some teams that they can turn it on. The Lakers are not that team. They don't have those players. They don't have those players that could just switch it on.
That's the thing I thought. Like, I mean, you have him in AD. I mean,
I don't think they can just switch it on.
And I don't think 80. I think 80 is definitely a rhythm player. After that, I don't think you have those guys.
Yeah, they don't got nobody that like
just don't
go get me a bucket, no plays called.
I don't think you have anybody on the team that can do that except maybe LeBron.
Except for Trez. I'm trolling.
You said Trez. I'm done.
Ocean's 11? Trez, Ocean's 11? Sitting there feeding the Clippers all that information last year.
He's an inside man.
Inside job. It's an inside job, man. Ocean's 11 Trez.
That Juju caught up with Trez, man. He paying for that shit now.
Inside, right.
He paying for that shit.
Game when Lakers took less money. He could be on Charlotte right now, eating
right
for like double what he was.
I'm trying to get like 20 mil. He said, nah.
20 mil years, like, nah, I'll play for 9.
What do you got? 6 or 9? You got 8, 9? Fucking stupid. We won't hold you long on this, G. I do have, I gotta talk about one more thing. Just one really quick thing. How about the goddamn New York Knicks? I talked to my brother the other day. I was like, yo, remember when I told you Tibbs gonna make him a little more competitive? He was like, I remember that shit. I remember that shit. I don't have nothing on it. It just feels good.
I'm not a Knicks fan, but I do want to know. I want y'all to know that I've been telling y'all about Randall for about 3 seasons now.
I don't want to hear it.
You have been saying you have been.
He is the archetype, and I will continue to preach that he is the archetype until the NBA shifts.
He is the archetype. He doesn't have enough go-to moves to me. A lot of it's just will, which I mean, it's
LeBron
fine.
don't either.
He's not LeBron. Let's keep it. Let's
just say it.
Let's be very clear about something. He's not LeBron though. But I get what you're saying. Yes, no go-to move. I think we proved the point to you as well, G. When the Knicks are better, the NBA is more fun. It is. Yes, it is. The Knicks bring a certain kind of excitement that most teams don't bring. No one cares if the Pelicans, I used them because that's your team, but the Grizzlies are great. Oh, cool. No one cares.
See, I don't pay attention enough to actually debate you on this. It doesn't feel. I don't feel it. I don't feel like an aura coming from the NBA because the Knicks are good.
Yeah, you do.
I feel more of an aura from Steph going off like that than the Knicks.
Well, imagine if he was on the Knicks, which is what should have happened, but the basketball god said no. It would be too much for everybody to handle. He had to go to something like the Warriors, where it's just like, all right, let's bring this decrepit franchise up a little bit. If you came to the Knicks, it'd have taken over all the basketball, and what would you fucking do? It was just we should have had this coach, and we should have had Curry. Imagine that.
What's the end of the season look like? What's successful to you? Is the championship a bust? Because you're going to be disappointed if that's the case. Like,
it's
what's
not
successful
bust for us this year?
No,
this year.
Okay. I think if we avoid the play-in, honestly, and we're just competitive in the playoffs. I said from the jump. I said I did not necessarily think we were going to be this good. I just said compete, play effing defense. That's all I want. Just compete. Like the team with Fizzo quit every other night. It was just like, I don't want to be here. I'm like, if you play like you want to be there, I'm cool with that. And they've done more than that.
Where can you even improve though, knowing the landscape of the next upcoming free agents or the next upcoming off season?
You've got to get a trade. There's the ceiling with this team. If they're not there, they're close to it. I don't think you can get a whole lot better. They talked about potentially going after Dame. I think that's pie in the sky talk. I don't believe in that shit at all. But that's what you have to do. You got to go. But this, I told you, this is what I hoped we could be this year is where Brooklyn was before they got KD and Harden and Kyrie, right? Competitive team with some playoff experience that a star may look at and say, oh, if I can get a trade there or if I can just come there, I could potentially take them to the next level and really be competing for a championship. I think that's what we've shown with this nucleus. If you get another star player and we keep the core there, let's say the core is RJ, I guess Randall would be part of the core as well. and then maybe like Quick and Toppin or some other pieces, I could take that and be top 2, top 3, and really host a playoff series, take it a step further and then me competing. That's how I want to be at. Just be in that range to go from there if you get a star player. But you can't go any higher than that. I don't think you can win a ring with this team. Even the Heat had Jimmy Buckets. You know what I mean? So,
because to me, it looks like y'all setting yourselves up for a couple seasons that look like the Nuggets, where it's like y'all make it there, but you can't cross the finish line. That's what it looks like to me. Outsider.
No,
I don't know how y'all feel about that.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, and I just think that here's my thing. This is the only thing I care about with the Knicks right now, because we're going to be in the playoffs. I think we'll have a good showing. We'll be more attractive. So I think since we got the new front office and all that stuff, everything has happened. Started looking better. We just can't overpay Randall, because I do think we're going to get a star to come.
I don't think we get a star
money,
too,
bro. He get his money.
I think you have to get him to buy into the idea.
And I heard the saying. I heard it. It's coming. He get his money.
That's what I've been afraid of. Because now he's getting MVP conversation. So it's just like he's gonna look for like, well, I'm in the MVP conversation, so I should get super max money. And I'm like, can't do that, because you pay you super max money, then what type of money we gonna have left over when we gotta really get a star.
I think you try to convince him. He said something about the Knicks saved him, about how he didn't know, like he owes a lot to the organization. He talked a lot about that shit recently. If I'm them, I'm saying, yo, you see what the Warriors did, you see what other dynasties have done. We'll get you'll get paid, right? Let us be able to get a little wiggle room to bring in another guy, because outside of him, they have no other big contracts, right? RJ's on a rookie deal. And if RJ blossoms into a starter player, you can go over the cap to sign him. So you tell Randall, yo, give us some space so we can still bring in a guy next to you, a guy we think is going to complement you really well, and let's go get this ring. I think if you get him to buy into that, then it's cool. If he comes in there saying, yo, I want 30 mil, no questions asked.
His career started off too bad for him to think like that, in my opinion. When you start off your career like that, you go get the bag, because you know how it could get.
But if we're talking about he wants 30 and we're like, yo, well, can we get you 22? Like, you know what I mean? If we're talking about that, he's going to get a bag. It's going to be 4 or 5 years. He's going to be paid. But if the max for him is 30, and we're saying, yo, if you take 25, you can get somebody else who can take 30 or 25, and tell him, we're going to go get a Dame. We're going to go get, I don't know who else is out there, honestly.
You're not getting nobody.
You're
not getting nobody. I don't know why you acting like y'all about to go.
I did hear rumors we might trade for Dame.
I saw that too.
Here's what I heard.
Y'all don't want Dame.
I do want Dame.
I would take Dame.
100% want Dame.
Rick don't even like Dame.
He don't like Dame.
I do like.
He got first round Dame. First round Dame.
But you know what? It'll be different when he's a Knick. And the other thing is, I was on Dame back when he was in college. You can ask anybody. I was telling people about Dame Lillard before people knew who Dame Lillard was.
I believe you.
So
I believe that too.
I'm a Dame guy. I just call it like I see it. Like after the first round, all the theatrics to like just go away. Like it's like what happens in the second round. But I'm saying the Knicks, from what I read, we hold the trade market along with like OKC and I think some other team, because we have the most draft picks.
Got the assets.
We got the assets, so we control the trade market. So if Portland feels like, okay, we're about to blow this up, and you need first round picks, give us Dame. We'll give you like 3 of these joints, and then we'll be on our way.
I'm just saying, seeing what some stars have gone for, and I think it's completely plausible. I think RJ's a trade piece. As much as I like him, he's a trade piece. He's a young guy. on a rookie contract, show promise, averaging 17, 6 and something, whatever. I mean, he's good. I like RJ more than I think Reek does. But if he gets his Dame, you make that trade.
Right. I'm about to say he's all right, but I will part with him in a second. If we can get a bigger star, he can go.
Gee, I don't know, man. You know what? I'll tell you, G, I won't spend too much time on this, but I know every year is like, oh, Knicks gonna get somebody. I think that's a lot of national media hype. Oh, why would you come to New York? It's the Mecca. We just found out that it was actually true that we did try to use the goddamn Sopranos to get LeBron to come here. We just had the confirmation that Sopranos were actually used for this shit. This isn't back in the day. This isn't a AAU franchise anymore. It's not. There's a different vibe around here. There's actually adults in the room. I feel like with that, it's a different vibe. Maybe now we come with actual plan for players, not stars from an old TV show. You know what I mean? Like I think maybe now it's like, oh, now they're serious. And more importantly, we're not like 11th in our conference. We're actually a playoff bound team. I think that is what makes it a little bit different. So I mean, this
may not matter, but does Brooklyn having the team that they have discourage people from coming to the East?
I don't think so.
I don't think.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, because I think if you're gonna come East, like not saying that because I'm a Knicks fan, but I think like the only one that can like match the star power or match the the overall thing, and you can probably get more notice than Brooklyn is if you come to the Knicks. Like, because I think Philly, Milwaukee, like they got stars, but it ain't like you're not in the Mecca. Like you're not gonna be like the star. If Dame was in with the Knicks while they got their big three, like the East would be that's must-see TV.
And you figure too, if you come to the East, like the West, you feel like there's 3 or 4 teams you feel like just established a lot of young talent. The East is kind of top heavy. It always seems to be that.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the Nets, the Bucks, and then Philly.
Man, I'm waiting for the days where the East kind of quote unquote comes back.
Because it's not there yet. I mean, after the first couple, it's like the Celtics. I don't know what they're doing. The Heat proved last year was a fluke. I mean, Philly should be the team, but they're beatable. Brooklyn should be the team, but they've shown that they can be beatable, and they're also not healthy. And Milwaukee has been beaten, and they ain't made no change but adding damn Drew Holiday. So if you're Dame and you in the West, you've been in a dogfight in the West your entire career.
Dame, I feel like Dame is like I don't want to say Westbrook, but like Dame to Portland is kind of like how Westbrook was, where he's like, man.
Oh yeah, I agree.
He's Portland or die, and I'm not saying he's not going. Yeah, I'm not saying he's not going to play hard because he seems to be a stand-up guy, but I really just can't see Dame anywhere else.
I think he said it. He doesn't want to be. He's cut from the same cloth. He said this. He said, I don't want to necessarily leave. I want to do it here. I don't want to join up with guys. He moved his whole family to Portland. Like all of his people are in Portland. So he's a West Coast dude too. You said what?
Go, you moving them to New York.
They'll be happy for them to change the scenery.
Do a nice spot in Jersey.
It's y'all tripping, man. Y'all think New York is about to get all these people, man. I get it. Ain't nobody going to Portland. Melo came.
He did.
He did go, but it's like Melo's old.
I'm glad you said
been helping him out, but it ain't like prime Melo.
He give you a solid 12 and a sneaky 17.
Yeah, he been balling, but it's just like no. I don't think anybody that's going to help him get over the top will come to Portland.
No,
I mean him and CJ just need to play like they're all-stars. Like
when they do, it's just like they run into bigger all-stars.
But you know what though? In their defense, I feel like when they've had the team that I thought was competitive, their big always gets hurt. I'm not saying he's going to make that much of a difference, but I've yet to see them go into like a playoff series with like a legit big. Like they had like was it Cantor or something was subbing in or something like that? They had like
Cantor was getting big minutes.
Yeah, and they don't have like their legit big ever.
With the way they play, they needed legit big. With them two on defense, they needed big. Like they've never had like a real solid one that I can recall. And they shouldn't have left. He should have stayed his ass there. Bum. Now you're retired. That's it. I do think we're gonna get somebody, G. I do think I don't know it's gonna be Dame. It will be awesome, but I think the Knicks are back, and I think people want to go there because they're saying, "Yo, y'all got an ant for Julius Randle and RJ Barrett." Now, if I come there, what's gonna happen? We gonna be talking to town as we are now, playing across the bridge from KD, Kyrie, and Harden. It's appealing, man. It's New York, baby. We'll get somebody. I have faith.
Yeah,
faith. Yeah, I think you're essentially gonna drop the bag. Y'all gonna drop the ball in the bag, and it's gonna be funny. That I want to record immediately after. Like, I don't care what day, what time it is, when it happens, we're going on air.
You're gonna record when it says when we pay Julius Randle $200 million.
Honestly, I'm gonna tell you right now, if we give him a max contract, a super max contract, I don't want to record that week at all. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't even want to face. I want to face G and the troll that I'm gonna
that
get
moment.
That.
We will be live on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, and we will have a chat about what just happened.
I don't want that. I don't want to do that.
I'm looking from the outside, all right. So like, I'm just telling you what I see. I just don't know. I don't know if the only thing that can help you out of the trade, this is gonna have to be like one of those stupid trades where like y'all give away 30 picks and get like a star, right? Like that's the only way I see y'all winning. Do y'all got that many picks?
I think only person that has more picks than us is OKC.
OKC got like picks till 2050.
I can see y'all giving away all those like random, and I hate NBA picks because it's all these conditionalized picks that you got to fucking read a rubric to figure it out. But that's the only thing I can see happening is if y'all find a disgruntled player and y'all got just 15 picks for them, 15 picks in cash, or something stupid like that.
I mean, it can be done. It's done over and over again.
Cause what you giving up RJ? You cool with giving up RJ, right? You cool with giving up floater dude? You cool with giving up Toppin?
Yeah. There's no one. I mean, you keep Randall because you assume he's a part of the nucleus, but I think if you're talking Dame, if you're talking Book, if you're talking, I mean, I wouldn't really want him, but you're talking like Luka. There's guys that you pretty much, I don't even love Luka's game, but like if you're getting a guy like especially a younger guy, because Dame's kind of on the middle of his prime, tail end of his prime age, you make the move. There's no one on our team that should be untouchable unless Obi starts averaging like 20 and 10 out of nowhere. Then anyone can be moved. Anyone at any time can be moved. Yes. I want to keep those pieces. Obviously, you want to get a star. You want to bring them in with what you have already. But yeah, I'd pretty much get rid of everybody except I guess Randall. So, and we're gonna do it, and we're gonna get a star.
Good luck.
Watch.
Good luck being the Nuggets for the next 5 years.
Rather that than what we were. Rather be the Nuggets than what we've been. we haven't had a winning record since 2013. Yeah, I'll take this over the last 5 or 6 years, 100%. That's a fact.
Yeah, easy. New front office, new coach. Even though I was worried about Tibbs,
new way to lose.
Running players into the ground, which he
is a little bit.
Yeah, but it's been working because we've only got bums. So, if he wants to run Julius Randle into the ground, that's fine.
Hey, if you don't plan on making a deep playoff run, why not use them on now?
He said, "Run the bumps into the ground." I'm dead.
People sleeping on the Knicks, so I'll give y'all that. I'm not a hater. You know, they sleeping. I see y'all. I see the highlights.
See the highlights.
I see the Julius Randle highlights.
There's mostly Julius Randle highlights. Occasional floaters and dunks from Albie.
I see
occasional corner.
Topic can shoot now apparently.
Dude, I didn't know he had a jumper. Man, got a jumper. I was like, oh yeah, let's go. Little jumper, little effective jumper. All right, I'll take it.
Good luck. We'll see what happens. We'll see what LeBron does. We'll see who's on clutch next year.
I'm done. Clutch sports. Clutch sports.